Hi, my name is Alexis Quinn. This video is about the Met Police's decision to no longer attend emergency calls related to mental health incidents. So, as an autistic person who's been in lots of distress, I've had countless Section 136s, which is where the police are authorised to detain a person and take them to a place of safety. Now, the most recent of those that I've had has been in the last few months. Sometimes I melt down, sometimes I shut down. I feel disorientated. I'm unable to speak and also respond to environmental input. So, in these instances, the police have conveyed me to a place of safety, usually a mental health setting. But had those instances been allowed to develop, I might have been at risk from other people. I might have been hit from a car. I might have become sort of very lost. Now, in the past, when I was in hospital, mental health psychiatric hospital, police have supported me when I've been AWOL from hospital, when I've been unmanageable due to meltdown in hospital settings, and when I've been in meltdown or shutdown in public spaces. Now, Sir Mark Rowley has said that his force gets thousands of such calls every year, and he's no longer going to authorise his officers to support people unless it's life-threatening. Now, on the one hand, I doubt if anyone, certainly I wouldn't, want my distress attended to by people untrained in the provision of expert care and support. Yet, on the other hand, the police are the only people with the legal power under the Mental Health Act to take people to a place of safety. This is going to have a massive implication for mental health law if they're going to refuse to do that, because who else is authorised to use a Section 136 to convey people? Now, my fear, or my other fear, is that people's distress will exacerbate, turn unnecessarily into something that requires greater force, greater restraint, greater restriction, and that's going to result in more trauma and more life-threatening scenarios. I also worry that people's distress, notably those who are autistic and or have a learning disability, will be criminalised. For instance, if police are no longer able to respond or see people's distress through a medical lens, then they're going to be looking at it, aren't they, through a criminal lens. Because the person's still going to need to be responded to in some way. Nobody's calling the police and asking them to attend for fun. There's a need, isn't there, that has to be responded to in some way. So, I mean, here's an instance. Okay, this is a real scenario. Okay, I'm really distressed. I'm in public. I'm sensory seeking. I'm unable to process information. I'm unable to respond using verbal communication. I don't pose an immediate danger to life, but I am causing, a disturbance, I suppose. Okay, breaching the peace or whatever in a certain setting. So we've seen how distress has been criminalised already. Okay, people being on bridges, feeling suicidal, being locked up in police cells and dragged through the courts. People calling mental health hotlines, being prosecuted for harassment. In all of these instances, mental distress is being recast as criminality. So this decision can be an extension of that. It could be. And surely, to not respond to one section of the population, those with distress, with mental health, or neurodivergent people, that's surely a breach, of the Equality Act. So just to summarise, of course we want people's mental distress met with care, support, by professionals who are trained in mental distress and the support of that. But at the same time, the police has a responsibility to vulnerable people in our communities who are distressed and who ultimately are the only ones with the legal power to convey to a place of safety.